so I can get some productivity done, stimulate the muscle, recover before Wednesday, and start the week off, on a good note with the priority.
Just the discipline, the consistency to believe and continue to fight no matter what.
These relationships are important. Don't burn any bridges. Treat people the way you would like to be treated, because it may come back. They may be your boss one day.
I never wanted to be just another champion. I wanted to prove that patience and persistence could defeat genetics itself. Those words from Brandon Curry reveal a truth that even his most devoted fans never fully understood. Behind the Mr. Olympia crown lies a decades-long battle against doubt, rejection, and a body that refused to cooperate with his dreams. What the world saw as inevitable success was actually a masterclass in transformation against all odds. And the truth is more impactful than you ever imagined. Are you enjoying this story about Brandon Curry? Then help the channel with your subscription. Look, 94.8% of people who watch these videos still aren't subscribed to the channel. If you're part of that group, take the opportunity and subscribe now. It's free, and you'll keep receiving incredible stories of legendary bodybuilders who shaped the sport. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one. Brandon Curry's physique wasn't built in the spotlight of Instagram or the glamour of YouTube documentaries. It was forged in the shadows of Nashville gyms, where a young man with average genetics spent years watching others surpass him despite his relentless work ethic. While competitors like Phil Heath and Kai Greene exploded onto the scene with dramatic mass and immediate recognition, Curry spent over a decade in the wilderness of competitive bodybuilding, placing outside the top 5 at the Olympia year after year. His early career was marked by a cruel pattern. Every time he thought he'd made his breakthrough, judges would overlook him for more genetically gifted athletes. In 2013, he placed 13th at the Mr. Olympia. 13th. For a man who would eventually stand at the pinnacle of the sport, this was more than disappointing. It was devastating. But this rejection planted a seed that would eventually bloom into something revolutionary. The understanding that he would need to completely reinvent his approach to building muscle, because his body simply wouldn't respond like the genetic elite. The shadow of Phil Heath loomed over Brandon Curry's entire career like an immovable mountain. Heath's 7 consecutive Olympia victories from 2011 to 2017 created an era where second place felt like last place. Curry watched as contemporaries either quit in frustration or settled for competing in lower-tier shows. The pressure wasn't just about beating Heath. It was about surviving in a sport that seemed to have no room for athletes who developed slowly. Industry insiders whispered that Curry was too symmetrical, not freaky enough, for the modern Olympia stage. Sponsors hesitated. Magazines relegated him to background shots. The man who would become Mr. Olympia 2019 was told repeatedly that his physique was nice, but not championship material. This external doubt created a psychological warfare that nearly destroyed him. In private conversations with his coach Abdullah Al-Otaibi, Curry admitted contemplating retirement multiple times between 2014 and 2017. The financial strain of maintaining an elite bodybuilding lifestyle without top-tier sponsorships meant working multiple jobs while trying to train like a champion. His wife, Brandy, became the family's primary breadwinner, a reality that gnawed at his confidence even as she encouraged him relentlessly. The real story of Brandon Curry isn't found in his victories. It's buried in the private hell of 2016 to 2018, when everything fell apart internally. His relationship with his longtime coach deteriorated over philosophical differences about drug protocols and training intensity. Curry was caught between old-school bodybuilding methods and newer, more aggressive pharmaceutical approaches that were transforming physiques across the sport. He witnessed friends and competitors suffer serious health consequences from pushing too hard, yet he also saw those same aggressive approaches producing the mass that judges rewarded. The ethical dilemma tore him apart. His own body began rebelling. Chronic injuries to his shoulders and lower back threatened to end his career. Medical scans revealed structural issues that doctors said were incompatible with elite-level bodybuilding. He was told to quit. Instead, Curry made a decision that would change everything. He moved his entire family to Kuwait to work with Abdullah Al-Otaibi, abandoning the American bodybuilding system entirely. This wasn't just a training decision. It was a complete lifestyle upheaval that tested his marriage, distanced him from his support system, and placed enormous pressure on his mental health. In Kuwait, away from the American bodybuilding circus, Curry experienced profound loneliness. He's never publicly discussed the depression that plagued him during those years, or how close he came to boarding a plane back to Nashville and never competing again. The 2018 Arnold Classic changed everything, but not in the way anyone expected. Curry won that prestigious title, but the victory felt hollow because he knew the Olympia stage was different, bigger, more political, more unforgiving. What the public didn't know was that Curry's prep for the 2019 Olympia nearly killed him. He pushed his body to limits he'd never approached before, suffering from severe cramping, electrolyte imbalances, and a near kidney failure 3 weeks before the show. His team considered pulling him from competition. The man who walked on stage in September 2019 was operating on 2 hours of sleep and emergency medical intervention that had stabilized his system just days earlier. When he stood in the prejudging lineup, he felt dizzy and disconnected, certain he'd pushed too far. Then something shifted. The crowd's energy, the realization that Phil Heath wasn't competing, the years of rejection crystallizing into pure determination. It all coalesced into the performance of his life. But even in victory, Curry knew the truth. He'd sacrificed pieces of his health that he'd never fully recover. Life after winning Mr. Olympia 2019 revealed the bitter complexity of reaching the summit. Curry lost his title the very next year to Big Ramy in a controversial decision that many experts questioned. The defeat devastated him more than any of his earlier failures because it confirmed his deepest fear, that even as champion, he still wasn't enough for the judges. The experience taught him that bodybuilding success is ephemeral and often arbitrary. Since then, he's become an advocate for athlete health and more sustainable approaches to the sport, speaking openly about the dangers of extreme conditioning. His influence extends beyond trophies and mentorship, where he guides younger athletes away from the mistakes that nearly destroyed him. Curry's true legacy isn't his Sando trophy. It's his proof that championship-level success can be achieved through patience, adaptation, and refusing to let genetics or politics define your ceiling. Are you enjoying this story about Brandon Curry? Then help the channel with your subscription. Look, 94.8% of people who watch these videos still aren't subscribed to the channel. If you're part of that group, take the opportunity and subscribe now. It's free, and you'll keep receiving incredible stories of legendary bodybuilders who shaped the sport. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one. Brandon Curry's story reveals a profound truth about human potential. Greatness isn't about having the best starting point. It's about having the courage to completely transform when your initial approach fails. The body on the Olympia stage was built not in months, but across 15 years of rejection, reinvention, and relentless faith in a vision that almost no one else could see.